Attention passionate Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the AFC North and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Pittsburgh Steelers' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Pittsburgh Steelers fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your friends and Pittsburgh Steelers fans. Let's get to the news. Alright, folks, today we're diving into a story that's been making waves in Steelers Nation. And honestly, it's a perfect example of how the NFL's drama can sometimes overshadow the game itself. But as always, we're here to bring you the full picture, with all the details that matter to us, Steelers fans. So, it all centers around Deshaawn Elliot, the Steelers' safety, who made a pretty electrifying return in Week 4 against the Minnesota Vikings. After missing 2 games due to a knee injury, Elliott was back on the field, and he didn't waste any time. He immediately made his presence felt by snagging an interception from Carson Wentz, helping the Steelers secure a big win. That play alone kind of summed up what Elliott's presence means for this defense, a guy who can come in and immediately impact the game, providing that extra layer of security in the backfield. Now, this comeback was even more significant because it showed how important Elliott is to this team. His ability to read plays, his instincts, and his physicality, all of that adds up to a player who can change the course of a game. And let's not forget, the Steelers' secondary has been solid overall, but having a guy like Elliott back in the mix boosts their confidence and stability. But here's where the story takes a weird turn. Just days after that impressive return, Elliott found himself in the NFL's crosshairs for something seemingly minor, but well, in NFL terms, absolutely outrageous. Yes, I'm talking about the fine he received from the league, and honestly, it's one of those moments where you ask, really, that's what they're fining him for? Because what happened was, Elliott was fined for wearing a black towel during the game. Now, if you're a Steelers fan, you know how passionate we are about our black and gold, and how players often like to add a little personal flair with towels or accessories. But apparently, the NFL has a strict dress code when it comes to towels. Players are allowed to wear towels, sure, but only white towels. Black towels? Not so much, at least not officially. And Elliott, being the fiery competitor he is, decided to wear his black towel during the game, perhaps thinking it was no big deal, maybe even trying to show some team pride or just personal style. Well, the league didn't see it that way. They hit Elliott with a fine of $5, $797, which, let's be honest, is a pretty hefty slap for what seems like a minor infraction. And Elliott, never one to shy away from speaking his mind, took to his Instagram story to express his frustration. And folks, I gotta tell you, his words weren't exactly sugar-coated. He wrote, "Count your F*** days," along with some other pointed comments, making it clear he's not happy with the league's decision. He also added, "Y'all worried about the wrong things. Let's fix things that actually mean something," which is a pretty strong message about how players feel sometimes, that the NFL can be overly focused on petty rules rather than the real issues on the field. This isn't the first time Elliott has had run-ins with fines or league rules, either. Back when he was with the Miami Dolphins, he had a couple of incidents involving unnecessary roughness, and those fines added up to over $50, $0 in 2023 alone. So, it's clear that Elliott isn't shy about standing his ground when it comes to NFL regulations or how he's treated by the league. But what does this mean for the Steelers and their season? Well, for starters, it highlights the kind of passion and fire Elliott brings to the team. He's not just a guy who makes plays, he's a leader on and off the field, unafraid to speak his mind and stand up for what he believes is right. That kind of attitude can be contagious for the team, especially for young players looking up to veterans like Elliott. Now, looking at the bigger picture, the Steelers are currently sitting in a good spot in the AFC North. They've shown resilience, especially with that win against the Vikings, and the defense, with Elliott back, looks more formidable than ever. But of course, there are always challenges. The league's fine may seem minor in the grand scheme, but it's a reminder of how rules and regulations can sometimes feel arbitrary or frustrating for players who just want to focus on winning. And let's be honest, in the NFL, these fine stories tend to generate a lot of buzz among fans because it's a mix of the serious and the absurd. What's also interesting here is how this situation might impact Elliott's mindset moving forward. Will he double down on his style and continue to push boundaries? Or will he tone it down to avoid further fines? That's something to watch, especially because the Steelers need him to stay aggressive and engaged. His interception and return in Week 4 just proved how valuable he is to this defense, and losing that edge over something like a towel seems almost trivial but speaks volumes about how the league enforces its rules. And speaking of the Steelers' defense, it's been a bright spot this season. With players like Deshaawn Elliot, they've shown they can be a game changer. Elliott's playmaking ability, combined with the disciplined yet fiery attitude he brings, makes this secondary one of the more unpredictable units in the league. But at the same time, it's a delicate balance. The Steelers' coaching staff will certainly have to remind their players about NFL policies while also encouraging that passionate edge that makes this team so dangerous. Now, let's talk a little about the season so far. The Steelers, under the leadership of head coach Mike Tomlin, have been resilient. They've faced injuries, tough opponents, and some close games, but they've managed to stay competitive in the AFC North. This division is always fiercely contested, and every win counts. The fact that Elliott's return coincided with a strong defensive showing only boosts morale. They know they have a core that can carry them deep into the playoffs, especially with a secondary that's getting healthier and more confident. And it's not just about this one fine or one game. It's about the bigger picture, the Steelers aiming for that elusive Super Bowl title. They've got a solid quarterback in Kenny Pickett, who's still developing but showing flashes of greatness. The offensive line has been doing its job, and the defense, with Elliott back, is looking more formidable than it has in recent seasons. The AFC North is tough, no doubt about it, with teams like the Ravens and Bengals always ready to fight for supremacy. But if the Steelers keep playing with this level of intensity and resilience, they have a real shot. Plus, it's worth noting how the team and the fan base are rallying around this story. Elliott's outspoken stance and the league's fine have sparked conversations about rules, player rights, and the culture of the NFL. Steelers fans are known for their passion and loyalty, and seeing one of their players stand up and speak out only strengthens that bond. This story isn't just about a fine, it's about the spirit of competition, the passion for the game, and the fight to be the best. So what's next? Well, for Elliott, it'll be interesting to see how he responds to this situation. Will he keep pushing the boundaries, or will he choose to tone it down? Either way, his impact on the field remains undeniable. The Steelers need his playmaking, his leadership, and that fiery attitude that he brings. And for the team as a whole, they'll want to keep building on the momentum from that Week 4 win, tighten up their defense, and continue to push toward that playoff spot with everything they've got. And of course, we'll be watching closely to see if the league issues any further fines or clarifies their policies around accessories like towels. These are the little battles that sometimes reflect the bigger struggles in the NFL, between players' personalities and the league's rules, between passion and discipline. But one thing's for sure, Steelers fans, we're in this together, rooting for our team, celebrating our players, and standing firm in our belief that the Steelers can achieve greatness again. Whether it's a game-winning interception or a fiery post-game message, it all adds up to the story of this team, resilient, passionate, and hungry for more. And now, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on all this? Do you think Elliott was right to wear that black towel, or do you think the NFL was justified in fining him? How do you see this impacting his season and the team's overall momentum? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Steelers community. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more analysis, and all the latest Steelers news. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep pushing forward together because, at the end of the day, our team is about more than just a game. It's about loyalty, pride, and the relentless pursuit of excellence. Thanks for being part of this journey with us, and as always, go Steelers.